Most people spend their lives searching for the perfect partner. Someone who remembers every little detail. Someone who never forgets an anniversary. Then she noticed something impossible. He switched the knife from his right hand to his left, and that tiny change became 47 impossible changes she could never explain. So dim the lights, get comfortable, and remember. Sometimes the biggest red flags look exactly like green ones. My husband is the perfect man. Every woman I know has told me so. I just found out why. We met 3 years ago. He was everything. Attentive, funny, remembered the name of my childhood dog on the second date. My friends were almost annoyed at how good he was. Nobody's that perfect, my best friend Cara said. I laughed. I should have listened. The wedding was beautiful. The house came next. A Victorian fixer-upper in a small town 2 hours from the city. His idea. We need space, he said, away from all the noise. I agreed. I was in love. I would have agreed to anything. The first year was good. He cooked. He cleaned. He left notes on my pillow. He planned surprise trips. He never raised his voice. He never forgot an anniversary or a birthday or a random Tuesday he declared us day. My mother adored him. My coworkers envied me. Cara stopped warning me and started saying she wished she could find someone like him. I noticed the first thing about 6 months ago. It was small, so small I almost didn't register it. He was chopping vegetables and I saw him switch the knife from his right hand to his left. I said something like, "I didn't know you were ambidextrous." He smiled and said, "I'm full of surprises." I let it go. But I'd known him for 2.5 years at that point. I'd watched him write, eat, drive, throw a football, open jars, brush his teeth. He was right-handed. He had always been right-handed. Now he was left-handed, like a switch had flipped. I started watching. His handwriting changed, not dramatically. The slant was slightly different, the pressure was lighter. If you weren't looking for it, you'd never notice. I was looking. He started sleeping on the other side of the bed. He started taking his coffee black instead of with cream. He started humming songs I'd never heard him hum before. Old songs. Songs from before he was born. Small things, tiny things. A dozen tiny things that each meant nothing on their own. I asked him about the coffee one morning. "Since when do you drink it black?" He looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Not anger, not confusion, something else. Something calculating, like I'd asked a question he'd been expecting and he was deciding which answer to use. "Trying something new," he said. "New year, new me." It was June. I started keeping notes in a private document on my phone. A list of changes, the handedness, the handwriting, the coffee, the sleeping position, the humming. I added to it every time I noticed something. By August, the list had 47 entries. 47. I know what that number means now, but I didn't then. The dog knew first. We have a golden retriever named Gus. I've had him since before I met my husband. Gus loved him from day one, would sleep at his feet, would bring him toys, would whine when he left for work. Around the time I started my list, Gus stopped doing any of that. He wouldn't enter the same room as my husband. He'd freeze in doorways. He'd growl low in his throat, a sound I'd never heard him make. At night, he'd press himself against my side of the bed and stare at the bedroom door. All night, every night. My husband said Gus was getting old. "Dogs get weird in their senior years," he said. "Gus is 4. Last month I woke up at 3 a.m. and my husband wasn't in bed. I found him in the basement. He was standing in the dark, facing the wall, completely still. Not moving, not speaking. Just standing there like someone had paused him. I said his name. He turned around and his face was wrong for just a second, less than a second. His features were slightly off, the eyes a little too far apart, the mouth a little too wide, like someone wearing a mask that had slipped. Then it was gone and he was my husband again, smiling, Couldn't sleep, he said, came down here to think. He kissed my forehead and went back to bed. Then it was gone and he was my husband again, smiling. Couldn't sleep, he said, came down here to think. He kissed my forehead and went back to bed. I stood in the basement for 10 minutes after he left, trying to convince myself I'd imagined it, trying to unsee what I'd seen. I couldn't. That night I added entry 48 to my list. Face slipped. The next morning I called Kara. I hadn't talked to her in months. He'd slowly separated me from everyone, not dramatically, not with rules or demands, just with suggestions. Kara's kind of negative, don't you think? Your mom stresses you out, maybe we skip this visit. Your coworkers don't respect you, you should look for something remote. One thread at a time until I was alone in a Victorian house 2 hours from anyone I knew. Kara didn't answer. I tried my mom, no answer. I tried 3 other friends, nothing. I checked my texts, my calls, my emails. I'd been reaching out. I had the sent messages to prove it, but nobody had responded in weeks. I checked my husband's phone while he was in the shower. I found a blocked numbers list. Kara, my mom, my dad, my brother, every friend I'd ever had, every coworker I'd ever mentioned, blocked. Not on my phone, on his. He'd been intercepting. He'd been responding to them as me, telling them I needed space, telling them I was going through something, telling them not to contact me. There were hundreds of messages, months of them. He'd been both of us, the perfect husband and the wife who was pushing everyone away, building a cage out of my own voice. I didn't confront him. I pretended everything was normal. I smiled at dinner. I kissed him good night. I waited until he was asleep and then I went to the basement. I don't know what made me look behind the water heater. Some instinct. Some part of my brain that had been putting pieces together while the rest of me was playing wife. There was a door, not a real door, a hole in the wall covered by a piece of drywall that had been cut to fit. Behind it was a space, a small room, maybe 6 feet by 4 feet, concrete floor, no windows, a single light bulb hanging from a wire. And on the floor was a phone. My phone, my old phone, the one I'd lost at the airport 6 months ago. He'd helped me look for it. He'd been so concerned. He'd bought me a replacement the next day. The phone was still on. It was plugged into a charger that ran through the wall. The screen showed a messaging app, open to a conversation with someone named Collector. The last message was from 3 hours ago. Specimen 47 is fully integrated. Subject has not detected the transition. Recommend proceeding to harvest phase. Estimated yield, 94% compatibility. Previous specimens, 46. Success rate, 100%. Above that were photos. Dozens of photos, all of women, all taken without their knowledge, sleeping, showering, reading, crying, living their lives while something documented them. One of the photos was of me, from last night, asleep in my bed, taken from the doorway of my bedroom. I scrolled up. The conversation went back years. There were 46 previous specimens. Each one had a name, each one had photos, each one had a final message. Harvest complete. Specimen /number / processed. Replacement deployed. I looked up the names. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely type. Every single one was a missing woman. Different states, different years, all unsolved, all last seen with a boyfriend or husband who was described by everyone as the perfect man. I heard footsteps above me. He was awake. I'm in the bathroom now. The door is locked. He's knocking, softly, patiently, the way he does everything. Babe, come out. Let's talk about this. His voice is exactly right. Exactly the voice I fell in love with. Warm. If you enjoyed tonight's story, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What was the first moment you realized something wasn't right? Until next time, pay attention to the little things. Because sometimes, perfection isn't something you find. It's something that's wearing someone else's face.